How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Some news just broke. Just wanted to talk about it for a minute or two or 10. Look like there's going to be no more mask mandate in public transportation. Um, look like the federal or Florida judge actually just overturned the whole thing. So, for those who frequently fly, as of starting today, I guess you no longer have to worry about wearing a mask. And even the employees, I'm assuming, of these airlines, I'm assuming this may mean them too. They no longer have to wear a mask. But let's take a look at this real fast. Can I share my screen with you? Is that okay? Is it okay if I do that? For you who are listening on the podcast, just that's why I'm going to read it out to you all for those who are actually listening on the podcast. And this here is according to Yahoo News. So we'll see what kind of source, trusted source they are. But it says Florida judge voids U.S. mask mandate for planes, other travel. Article says here's by Kurt Anderson. It says St. Petersburg, Florida, AP. A federal judge in Florida has voided the national mask mandate covering airplanes and other public transportation as exceeding the authority of the U.S. health officials in the quote unquote Big C pandemic. The decision Monday by U.S. District Judge Catherine Kimball Mizell in Tampa, an appointee of former President Donald Trump, also said the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention improperly failed to justify its decision and did not follow proper rulemaking. Hmm. In her 59-page ruling, Mizell said the only remedy was to vacate the rule entirely across the country because it would be impossible to end it for the limited group of people who objected in the lawsuit. The judge said, quote, a limited remedy would be no remedy at all, unquote, and that the courts have full authority to make a decision such as this, even if the goals of the CDC in fighting the virus are laudable. Quote, because our system does not permit agencies to act unlawfully, even in pursuit of desirable ends, the court declares unlawful and vacates the mask mandate, unquote, she wrote. Wow, that's that's good news because it seems as though people can actually travel freely once again. But here's my question. I want to know if this is going to be an excuse. And what I mean by an excuse, I mean let's just say the so-called big C numbers start increasing, kind of like they are over in that big Asian country. Is this going to be the first reason they say that more people are dying or the number of big C patients are increasing? I don't know. It's like you're happy. First of all, I'm happy that you don't have to wear those masks anymore for travelers and for the employees. But I'm just wondering why. Like, what is there some other motive that we don't know about? I mean, I always say take a look at what's going on in China. I really do believe that that's something they're trying to bring to the United States. They've been locked down for how long over there? A month or two, whatever, and it's driving them crazy. I really think that's something that they're looking to bring to the United States, but they need to find a reason for it. They need to make people believe that, oh, sure, we need this. They need to make people buy into it. And one thing I see that may make people buy into it is removing the mask mandates, in public transportation, airline travel, and then come back later and use it as a reason for the so-called big C numbers to be so high or to have increase. I could see that happening. So in a way, it's a victory, but in a way, it's also giving those who wish, I guess, those who do not wish freedom upon the United States. I could see that as an emotive or an excuse for them to do what it is they do the evil that they do. I'm hoping I'm wrong on that, but it's really kind of hard to trust those in charge right now, regardless of what side you vote on, what political party you are affiliated with. I always believe there's something going on behind the scene that we don't know about from both sides. So that's just my opinion on that. Another thing I want to read here. This is from your good old people over at CNN. CNN, I don't necessarily watch them but this one here, it comes up on CNN. Keep your mask on. And the opinion was by Kent Sepkowitz. Let's see what he says. I've not read this article yet, but let's just see what. Once again, the quote pandemic have placed the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention after the original Omicron variant had settled. The agency had indicated that on April 18th, it would reevaluate the mask wearing mandate on airplanes, trains, and other quote unquote transportation conveyances. But soon afterwards, cases began to rise again nationwide as the Omicron BA2 the country. It meant sufficient concern that some cities re-indoor mask mandate, as did several colleges. So last week, the CDC wisely chose to extend for an additional 2 weeks the requirement of the mandate for travelers. First, stop right there. Hold up. I'm reading this and I'm looking at this, and it says, so last week, the CDC wisely chose to extend for an additional 2 weeks the requirement of the mandate for travelers. An additional 2 weeks. Does that bring back a memory? Does that ring a bell? Remember when all this first started? It was 2 weeks to slow the spread. And now you expect us to believe that it's just going to be an additional 2 weeks? I mean, try something new because the old lies aren't working. I mean, that was the first thing that actually came to mind when I saw this just now. Like I said, this is my first time reading this article, but that stands out to me. Let me just read that again. So, last week, the CDC wisely chose to extend for an additional 2 weeks the requirement of the mandate for travelers. It further says, in those 2 weeks, CDC experts will continue to monitor, quote, the potential impact the rise of cases has on severe disease, including hospitalizations and deaths and healthcare system capacity, unquote, to determine if indeed the new target of May 3rd, just a few days before Mother's Day, will be safe, or if once again the numbers dictate the need for another delay. Here's the thing. Just like the first time, 2 weeks to slow the spread, and the numbers always dictated the need for another delay, a 2 year delay. So we went from 2 weeks to 2 years. Who's to say that won't happen again with this? Oh, we extended for another 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks turn out to be another 2 years or longer. Because let's be honest, the so called health experts, I don't think they're ever going to, this is just my opinion. I don't think they're ever going to find a reason to do away with all mandates or do away with the so-called V shot. I don't think they're ever going to find out. They're talking about herd immunity at one point, 70% herd immunity. Then they came to, I think it went up to like 90%. And then it's like, well, they started mandating the big V. There's never going to come a time, honestly, in my opinion, that they're just going to completely say, you know what? Screw it. You don't need to get the big V. You don't need to wear a mask. At some point, everyone's going to catch it, kind of like the flu. Let be, whatever happens, happens. I seriously doubt they're going to do that. Why? Because it's about power and control. Those poor people in China over there, and I mean poor because of the situation they're in, they've been locked up basically in their homes for a while now. And you see, we've all seen the videos, people screaming out, yelling out the windows. If I'm not mistaken, I saw something where they were actually committing suicide over there right now. There's a severe food shortage going on over there. And it's all about power and control. Honestly, their government over there, the message to their people is you do what we say, when we say, how we say. If we want you to eat, you'll eat. If we want you to starve, you'll starve. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. And really, I really believe that's what the US government wants to do over here. They want to dictate where we go, when we eat, what we do, and how we do it, and when we do it. I do believe that's what they want. So all I'm doing is asking you all to open your eyes, see what could possibly be coming. All I say right now is look at China. Even with the original, Big V, the first variant, uh, or the Big C, the first variant, uh, did it not start in China? And before you know it, it was over here. Actually, there was a point in time where people in China were actually a little more free to do things than people in the United States. Because we had mandates on everything. Well, during that time, definitely last year, where the mandates weren't as severe in China. I don't care what you see on mainstream media. There's a time last year when we were going through things over here where the mandates over there were not so severe or not as strict as ours. Just saying. And of course, the politicians are going to use this as a political tool or political weapon. It's been looked at as those on the red team or right or Republican, they're wanting freedom, which we should have freedom. Those on the blue team, the Democrats or so-called liberals, they're pretty much just looking to do whatever the government says, it seems like. Although there are some people who call themselves liberals who are actually coming out against what's going on right now. People like Bill Maher and Russell Brand, who are outspoken liberals, but even they disagree with where the left is going on some of these things. At the same time, you have people like Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas. I don't know if it was just a show with the inspections of the trucks bringing in goods and supplies from Mexico, because it did cause a shortage. So I don't know if it was just a show, or for all I know, they could all be working behind the scenes together to create more chaos. Like, it just seems as though once you do your research and turn off your TV and start really paying attention to what's going on, and not using CNN or Fox or MSNBC or any kind of ABC or CBS or affiliate, you start to see that a lot of this is manufactured chaos. Just wondering, that's just my opinion on that. Even in schools now, there are certain schools. See that it's starting to come back slowly but surely. Let me type this in real fast, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to read this to you. Let's see. Okay, this is according to Fox News here. Yeah, this is according to Fox News. It's by Fox News, but for some reason it comes up here as Yahoo News. I guess they're just regurgitating what Fox News says. U.S. colleges reinstate mask requirements, but expert says the time for mask mandates is gone. And the article here looks like it's by an Adam Sabes. Don't want to butcher the guy's name, but says several colleges and universities across the nation are reinstating mask mandates amid a quote unquote significant increase in big C cases on campus. But one expert thinks the mandates are unnecessary. Georgetown University, Rice University, Columbia University, Johns Hopkins University, and American University have all reinstated mask mandates across campus. An announcement to the campus community on April 6th by Georgetown University states a quote unquote significant increase in big C, quote unquote, big C cases is forcing the university to reinstate the indoor mask requirement. Now, let me stop right there. It just seems as though a lot of these universities have ties to certain quote unquote health experts, especially America's quote unquote America's favorite health expert. He has ties to some of these universities, and a lot of researchers, like a lot of their research, comes from some of these universities, if not all of them. So I find that kind of weird or strange that they would be the first ones to go back and reinstate the mask mandates. I mean, how often do you see some article or some report stating that, oh, you know, according to research done at Johns Hopkins University or Georgetown or Columbia, whatever, such and such, yada 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 yada, dot 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 dot. I just find it weird that they're also the first ones that reinstate the mask mandates. I don't know. Maybe they're being told to by certain people in hopes that all the other colleges and universities follow the lead. Says here, quote, we are taking these steps in response to a significant increase in COVID-19 cases on the main campus and medical center campuses this week, particularly among undergraduate students, unquote. The announcement states, quote, the increase is partly due to the impact of the BA2 Omicron subvariant. BA2 is now the dominant strain in the United States, including in the DC and in our main campuses. While recent studies show that BA2 does not cause more severe illness than the initial Omicron variant, they also show that BA2 is even more transmissible. See, here's my thing. Let's unquote that. Here's my thing. It's less. So they're saying it causes, it does not cause more severe illness, but but it's more transmissible. According to who? According to who? Who says this? Like just because someone gets on the news and reads a statement, we just supposed to believe that. Sometimes you get tired of lies, man. Sometimes you get tired of the lies. But that's just I guess that's just how it goes. If you tell a lie enough, it becomes the truth. Once again, this continues to be the brainwashing of America. And it's like, who's next in line to be brainwashed? It's like there's this building called the Brainwashing Center, and there's a line of people outside lined up all around the building. And basically, who's next in line to step through the door to be brainwashed? That's what I see. Could be completely wrong, but that's just what I see. Let me know what you all think. Please give the video a like if you're on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. And also, please download the Tirade TV podcast, found on all major podcast platforms. Let me know what you all think. Thanks.